John is 62 years old. Last Tuesday, he discovered he may never be able to retire. After 40 years of work, John thought retirement was only 3 years away. He was wrong. Like millions of Americans, John did everything he thought he was supposed to do. He worked hard, paid his bills, raised a family, stayed employed. Yet today, at 62 years old, he's still setting his alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning. Not because he wants to, because he has to. And what happened to John could happen to almost anyone. Stay with me because later I'll show you the retirement mistake that may have cost John hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'll show you the one number every future retiree absolutely needs to know. For decades, Americans were sold a simple dream: work for 40 years, retire at 65, travel, relax, enjoy life. But that dream is becoming harder and harder to reach. Pensions have disappeared, housing costs have skyrocketed, healthcare expenses continue to climb, and people are living longer than ever before. The rules changed. Most people never noticed. John certainly didn't. He thought he was on track. Then reality showed up. Here's a number that should get your attention. Some estimates suggest that a retired couple may need hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of retirement to cover healthcare expenses alone. Think about that. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Many people spend decades planning for retirement. Few plan for the cost of staying alive during retirement. And that's where many retirement plans begin to fall apart. But healthcare wasn't John's biggest problem. His biggest problem was a silent thief that steals wealth from millions of people every year. You might think John's biggest enemy was inflation. It wasn't. You might think it was the stock market. It wasn't. You might think it was low wages. It wasn't. John's biggest enemy was a quiet little thief called, "I'll start next year." Every year he delayed investing a little more. Every year he found another reason to wait: a bigger house, a newer car, a vacation, a kitchen remodel, a lifestyle upgrade. The problem wasn't one big mistake. It was thousands of small decisions. Many people don't realize it, but lifestyle inflation quietly steals retirement one paycheck at a time. And what happened next is why so many high-income earners still struggle to retire. Here's the part that surprises most people. John wasn't poor. In fact, during the last decade of his career, John earned well into 6 figures. Let that sink in. 6 figures. Most people assume retirement problems happen because someone didn't earn enough money. But often that's not true. Many people don't have an income problem. They have a spending problem, a planning problem, a procrastination problem. That's what makes John's story so dangerous, because it means this can happen to almost anyone. Now let's talk about the most powerful force in investing: time. Imagine 2 people. Sarah starts investing $300 per month at age 25. John waits until age 45. Sarah isn't richer. She doesn't earn more money. She simply starts earlier. Assuming a long-term average return, Sarah could potentially retire with over $1 million. Now here's the scary part. John may have to invest several times more every month just to catch up. That's because compound interest rewards time more than effort. Time is the most valuable asset an investor owns, and it's the one thing nobody can buy back. Remember earlier when I mentioned a number every future retiree should know? This is it. The age you start investing may matter more than the amount you invest. Here's the reality nobody wants to hear. The day you retire is not the day your bills retire. Your property taxes don't retire. Your insurance doesn't retire. Your utility bills don't retire. Your healthcare expenses definitely don't retire. Retirement doesn't eliminate financial responsibilities. It eliminates your paycheck. And remember this: most people don't run out of time. They run out of money before they run out of life. Pause for a second. Seriously, think about this. If your paycheck stopped tomorrow, how many months could your savings support your current lifestyle? 1 month? 3 months? A year? Most people never ask themselves this question until they have to. That's why retirement planning isn't about someday, it's about today. The good news? You don't need to be rich. You don't need to pick the next hot stock. You don't need to predict the market. You need a plan. Start early. Take advantage of employer matches. Avoid high-interest debt. Increase your investments as your income rises. Keep lifestyle inflation under control. And stay invested. Simple isn't exciting, but simple works. John's story isn't unique. That's what makes it so frightening. Every morning, millions of Americans wake up before the sun. They put on their work clothes, grab their coffee, get into their cars, and head to work. Not because they love their jobs, not because they're chasing promotions, not because they're building their dream, but because they simply can't afford to stop. Many of them believed they would retire years ago. Some thought they'd be sitting on a beach. Some imagined traveling the country. Others dreamed of spending time with grandchildren. Instead, they're sitting in traffic, watching another workday begin, wondering where the years went. The truth is, retirement doesn't suddenly arrive one day. It's built one paycheck at a time, one investment at a time, one decision at a time. And unfortunately, so is the retirement crisis. It's built every time someone says, "I'll start investing next year. I'll save when I make more money. I'll worry about retirement later." Years pass, decades pass, and suddenly later has arrived. Time is either your greatest financial ally or your greatest financial enemy. One day your employer will stop paying you, not because they're mean, not because they want to, because eventually every career comes to an end. The question isn't whether that day is coming. The question is, what happens when it gets here? Will your investments be ready? Will your savings be ready? Will your retirement plan be ready? Or will you find yourself standing exactly where John is today? Because retirement isn't something that happens to you. It's something you prepare for. It's built long before your last day of work, long before your retirement party, long before you collect your first Social Security check. The decisions you make today determine the options you'll have tomorrow. The good news? If you're watching this today, you still have time. Maybe not as much as you'd like, but more than you'll have tomorrow. And that means you can still change the ending to your story. Because the goal isn't simply to retire. The goal is to retire on your terms, to wake up because you want to, not because you have to. And that journey starts today. Until next time. Keep building your road to wealth.